Tim, it is March 25th, March
Yeah.
25th.
Yep. Good job.
Okay. On this day, in 1942, and then subsequently in 1947, 5 years apart, two of the most iconic people in the music industry were born. Okay. One is no longer with us. The other is still with us. The one that's no longer with us, big clue, a couple movies being made about her life currently, and I think over the last year or so. The gentleman that is still with us, still just an iconic musician, one of the great tours, one of the great concerts I've ever seen.
Really?
Do you dare venture a guess?
One of the great concerts you've ever been. So I'm trying to think. Let's see, Tom Jones, maybe.
I like what you did there. Can I tell you something? I like what you did there.
Or how about Wayne Newton? How about?
Okay, I like what you did there.
No, the guy who's alive, in 1947. What country is he from? He's
England.
Not. Is he
England? Things
okay.
from England.
Things from England for 200. Jack, Alex.
And you will say, and this is going to give it away, you loved him in the 70s. You hated him in the 80s.
Stop, Elton John.
Stop
it. I told you to stop it because I think I had Reggie. That's right. Old Reg.
That's right. Reg Strikes Back. And then the female artist who is fortunately no longer with us.
Am I allowed to guess?
Yes,
or do you want to ask a question and give the
go ahead.
answer,
Yes,
man?
you're exercised.
It's annoying. Look, all right. Aretha Franklin.
There you go. I knew you were going to get it. The Queen. I mean, Aretha.
Riri.
I mean,
Riri. As she's dubbed. I mean, look, talk about the Queen. I mean, she's the entire court. I mean, she's
no doubt.
She's the royal court, man. She's the royal court in so many ways. Not only in terms of her influence, but I mean, truly the voice and the style that was emulated but never duplicated. Here I am sounding like Clyde Frazier. Riri. And there should be tons of, I mean, movie after movie. Okay, so RESPECT.
Well, there you go. That's exactly right. So that's
really
what I was
okay. So I'm in your head.
Say to you, obviously her most, arguably her most iconic song is exactly that. And my question to you is going to be, the market is getting a lot of respect today. Big sell off early, off the mats, coming back like a champ. What say you? Because I got to be honest with you, when it looked ugly early, and I thought it was just going to continue to get ugly later.
Yeah. Look, another important this day in music. I believe it was. I think it was 86. GNR signs with Geffen Records.
Look at you.
And in 87 releases I think one of the great debut albums of all time, one of the great albums of all time, Appetite for Destruction. I remember where I was the first time I listened to Sweet Child of Mine. And that's my reference today, because I think ultimately, if you think about the market, for so many people right now, where there is liquidity and where there has been a pretty good tailwind coming out of COVID, I actually think no one wants to see this market go lower. We know the Fed is at the front of the line, but the turnaround in the market today is notable, especially when I was out there tweeting some levels in the semiconductors or the SMH ETF. Hadn't spent this much time below the 100-day moving average since basically middle part of 2019, if you cut out the spike down period of COVID, which I'm willing to do, considering just how extreme that time was. But that semiconductors have been leading the market, and it suddenly looked as if it's beginning to be game over. A lot of these charts out there look not only exhausted, but the head and shoulders kind of formation, which a lot of chart guys will talk about, is not only happening, it's 3/4 of the way through, but the most devastating part of that formation could still be to come with a bigger check. So look, I don't think we've gotten out of the woods in half a day of trading, but I agree with you. Looking at things this morning, it really felt like, and this was our conversation yesterday, a lot more damage below the surface to the
Look
tape.
at you. Look at you.
than we are observing.
That's
So,
a great
market's still standing,
name for an
by the way.
album,
Back to
by
your
the
boy
way.
Reg.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to actually say, I was going to say, don't let the sun go down on me. But then you got me thinking, Head and Shoulders. You mentioned that. I think the competitor, much like the competitor to Intel was AMD or Vici today, the competitor for Head and Shoulders was, of course, the great Selsun Blue. Did you ever go down either road, the Head and Shoulders or Selsun Blue road?
So the Selsun Blue commercials were so absurd because it looked like these guys were wearing white football helmets, like when they lathered it up, and then they had like a stripe down the middle. One was Head and Shoulders, one was Selsun Blue. Look, man, I'm not too proud to tell you. There's a couple times I've reached for the bottle of Head and Shoulders. I mean, like everybody gets a little flare up. I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed about, dude.
No,
I'm
not trying to.
No, you know what? You're trying to make me feel bad.
No,
I'm
not.
A break or two. It's cool.
You have great locks. As a matter of fact, I mean, if you were not a drummer or a Wall Street, you should be an NHLer with those locks flying under your helmet.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of the helmet hat coming out today. By the way, the shirt I'm wearing, it's funny because I'm giving you grief for wearing only black pretty much 9 out of 10 days.
Yeah, well,
this shirt I got on is a shirt that looks like I'm wearing a t-shirt over a long sleeve shirt, but actually it's the same shirt.
They call that a dickie, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
A dickie. A dickie is just a thing for your neck, Dickie.
Oh, I don't know. Or a faux turtleneck. I mean, I don't know.
That's called a mock turtle.
That's a very British thing. My sense is, if I had to guess, the term dickie is some British monarchy type of thing. It just has that sound to it. Look, who else would feel the need to not, wouldn't want to put the whole thing on, but would still feel some need to slip on a turtleneck? Obviously the Brits, man. So back to Reg. Don't let the sun go down on me. I'm going to say his best album is either Captain Fantastic or Yellow Brick Road. Look at you.
And those are ones that are coast to coast, man. I mean, Funeral for a Friend, you could dime me over this, but the intro of that is so dramatic and gothic. And we taped that and we made it as a soundtrack. And then we kept dubbing it over and over again. And Mike, the speaker outside our house growing up for Halloween. So when people came up the path, they'd get scared. And it worked.
It's genius.
And then
Funeral for a Friend.
This
is for another show, by the way. Funeral for a Friend into Love Lies Bleeding quickly, or like Living Loving Maid into Heartbreaker, or Venus and Mars into Rock Show. I mean, we'll have that conversation tomorrow, but where I'm going with this. Foreplay into Long Time.
Or Intruder into Pretty Woman. I mean,
okay. So let's just end it there, and that's our question for today. But we're going to pick this up tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.